Hi, I'm Miss Emma or Emma, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today for Vita, I am going to be doing a movie review of 10 Cloverfield Lane. Now, I have to admit, I did not know a lot. Okay, I did not know much at all about this movie going in. And frankly, when it was first released, the only thing I thought was, yes, a new John Goodman movie that looks interesting as well, because I've always been a huge fan of John Goodman. Now, this is going to have spoilers. So, if you want some kind of spoiler-free review of this movie, do not watch this video, or ideally go watch the movie and come back. But I know sometimes I watch videos like this because I am either on the fence on the movie or I'm planning not to watch it all, and sometimes the videos actually change my mind. So, I currently subscribe to both Hulu and Amazon Prime. Now, because you want to know where to watch it on streaming, right? 10 Cloverfield Lane is available through Showtime, which means you can get it as an add-on to Hulu or Amazon. I will post links below in case you want to subscribe to either of those services, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so what happened is I'm watching other shows on Hulu recently, and they're just showing a lot of very short commercials for this movie. And it's like, what even is this? They're so weird, and I'm just not sure. So I have a definite plan of catching it at some point for like the last 4 days. I'm like, this looks really good. I have to see it. Um, my father happened to catch it a couple days ago, which he's the one who even got me into watching a lot of movies when I was young, and he gave it a very good rating, and I was like, you know what? That is a ringing endorsement for this movie. So, I must say, I was very pleasantly surprised and confused. I did not know who made this movie going into it, and I didn't care. I just knew it had a look of a low-budget movie. I just did a little bit of research because I was curious about if there was anything that I was missing or unsure of that might be cleared up, and it was not cleared up and totally. But it did tell me that the film was originally written as a low-budget, very low-budget movie, which I was like, oh, obviously it's one of those things where they got John Goodman on as a star, and then they could get more funding. And that sort of looks like what it is to me, but it never said anything about more funding. But then it said it was made by J.J. Abrams, which everybody knows from the juggernaut, to me, disappointment show Lost, because I do not have the attention span to watch seasons and seasons of a show waiting for something to happen, which is why I don't watch Walking Dead, by the way. So, I watched like the pilot of Lost, and I was like, looks like this is going to take forever for something to happen, and then I didn't watch the show. And I watched the first like season and a half or 2 seasons of Walking Dead, and I'm like, not enough zombies. So then I didn't watch that, and I've caught episodes here and there because my boyfriend's a big fiance. But the point is that I might not have even given it a chance if I knew it was J.J. Abrams. So sometimes the less you know, the better going in. Apparently it's linked to the last Cloverfield movie, which I did not watch because it was found footage, and I hate found footage movies now, mostly. And there's going to be a third one, but it's not a direct sequel. Okay, so if I'm not done spoiling the thing about any of the whimsy of this movie for you, um, basically it's told from this girl's point of view. I would say she's in like her mid to late 20s. I think they're trying to get her to play as early 20s, but I'm pretty good with ages. So I don't know any of the other actors' names in this movie, and I don't care. It doesn't really matter. Like I said, going into this not knowing a lot, I sometimes you'd rather not know. So there's like this wafy brunette girl. She wakes up in a freaking basement. Like, where the hell am I? And all she can sort of like remember is that she was in a car accident, and that's it. So she meets this guy played by John Goodman, who I feel like the whole time I'm trying to figure out his motives. Like, he's obviously a doomsday prepper, okay? He has a bunk. They're in the bunk, and below ground, the below ground part of the bunk. He has all his supplies. videotapes, DVDs, a generator. I'm guessing water filtration, but I did not catch if that was actually in there because I feel like that would be needed. And he tells her that she cannot go above the surface of the bunk because something is happening. He's not sure what it is, but there's like a chemical agent in the air that can kill you. And I felt like the whole time this movie's it's suspenseful, but it's also like mysterious and a mystery to me because I'm like, okay, so is John Goodman just a crazy doomsday prepper in that he's been doing this for years and he's decided to actually go underground and now he's kidnapped her, or did something happen? And I feel like they do a really good job of showing like from her point of view, of how that's confusing and what do you believe. And there's also a guy there with them, and you can spin a lot of conspiracy theories in your head. The movie's almost 2 hours long, so there's a lot of time to think about it. Where my fiance thought maybe the guy was in on it, which was a good theory, but I feel definitely proven wrong. And it's the crazy thing, but because John Goodman was Dan on Roseanne for so many years, and now he's even older, and he has like an older brother or a grandfatherly feel or dad feel, more of a dad feel about him, is that you're like, okay, well maybe, and he says he's ex-military, so maybe he is a little or a lot off, and he is trying to help this girl to be nice, or or maybe he's insane and he's kidnapped these people. It's very confusing. And there's like the weirdest music choices going from scene to scene, which I feel like whoever did the musical in this movie had the most fun time ever. Um, like I said, it's very suspenseful. You're never really sure how he's gonna act because he's so like, no, we're gonna be proper and not curse and things like that, and kind of act like they're a little family, even though of course they're not. Or he's gonna fly off the handle and like threaten you with bodily harm. And it's really hard to figure out his motives. So, it's so crazy because in ways, like, I'm like, I could kind of see doing some of this if you were the main girl, the protagonist. In that of course, she's trying to figure a way out because she's not positive. She's very wary that this is going on. And then she sort of sees what could be proof, but maybe it's not. Like, somebody trying to break in who's obviously deformed. So if there is something in the air that hurts you, maybe that's what's going on. And she sees animals he shows her who are deformed. But you're like, I don't know. Is this accurate? I mean, obviously, this is his bunker. He's in control. He could stage every fucking thing he wanted to. But I just go back and forth so much, like, while I'm watching this movie. Like, okay, well, what if something did happen and John Goodman is a crazy doomsday prepper and, ex-military where, a bunch of shit's happened and he's super over-prepared, but at the same time, you're never really prepared to be like, I'm gonna go live in a bunker forever until who knows, when we're gonna be better, when things are gonna be better and we can come out. But the kicker is that like he talks about how he has had this daughter, and he doesn't say what happened to her, and then like they get into a situation where they have games, and he's referring to her as a little girl, and like I say don't want to give everything away, but you have to. Like I said, go watch the movie and come back. It's just really interesting. And but like the clincher is the other guy who's there. He tells her that the photo she has, it was in like a magazine that they have for reading purposes. that it's actually some girl that this guy went to school with. They have to give him like the slightest backstory. It's like it's a small town or a small farm area or whatever, and he wanted to get out, and he never made it out of there, which is like some lots of people everywhere. So I guess maybe you're supposed to identify with him. I don't know. And the picture that the girl finds, he says, no, that's like a classmate I went to high school with a couple years ago or whatever. And she's like, well, that's funny because he told me this was a picture of his daughter. And he has like slight backstory in his daughter, like Paris and stuff. And then another picture falls out, and it's a picture of him and his daughter, obviously, because it's older. And she's wearing a tank top that has a like Je t'aime Paris or whatever. And he'd given it to this girl to wear. So you're like, hold up. Okay, so obviously this guy is freaking nuts. But at the same time, you see that maybe there's something happening outside with like biological warfare or whatever. And you always hear what sounds like it could be helicopters above. So you're like, it's like lesser of two evils. What do? Do you try to worry about the fact that, you could die, basically, either way? Because if you try to escape this crazy, like, megalomaniac, doomsday prepper guy, there maybe might be something outside of the bunker that could kill you. And at the same time, she's thinking, like, she sort of remembers being in this car accident, and she's like, there was nothing happening then. But, we don't know how fast this stuff happens. Then he admits that he was the one who caused her car accident. He felt bad about it. And that's why, like, he has enough supplies for himself, basically. He doesn't, like, deprive them of anything, which is really nice in my opinion. But, they're devising a plan to get out. And mainly her plan, I don't want to go into that because it kind of pisses me off with how she does that, and it seems unrealistic. But whatevs. And when he figures out something along the lines of what they're doing, the other guy takes the fall for it, and then all of a sudden you have like this huge climax, like third ending climax, where he has a fucking vat of acid. And I'm like, okay, he's threatening them with the vat of acid. I mean, he's, a little off. Maybe he's not really going to kill them. But then when the guy takes the fall, he does. And she kind of recruits for a little bit. But all of this happens very quickly. I want to say in like a day or something. Like in less than a day. And so she makes her escape. John Goodman looks horrifying. And then the climax of the movie, which you might not want to hear this. So if you don't want to hear it, just turn this video off now. Go watch the movie and come back. But she gets to the outside world, which they're in like a field somewhere. And there are giant fucking bug aliens, okay? I did not go into this movie expecting giant fucking bug aliens. But there they are. They do some pretty fucking ridiculous shit. They're very much buggy. Like a bug animal sense of smell and hearing and all that stuff. I don't think they're very intelligent, but I don't know. And now she's gonna get away from them after she's already got away from John Goodman. And also, what was his planning process of where he had to send her up to do stuff because he wouldn't fit in those spaces, man. That's the whole time. Like he has to have an alternate route, and then I guess he did from the looks of things at the end. But I don't know. I feel like there were things wrong that could have been done better, and they could have made it more apparent that he was abducting people because obviously something happened to his daughter, and I'm thinking maybe she wanted to leave and he killed her. I don't know because they don't tell you. And then there is the other girl from the guy's high school who's missing, and he obviously killed her as well, with fucking vats of acid sitting around. And like I'm saying, it was an enjoyable movie. It was very suspenseful. I could even see watching it again. It had good music and good characters and good actors. But what the hell is going on here? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not somebody who's like all movies have to be wrapped up in a perfect little bow, like that they need that much closure. But at the same time, like it came out of fucking nowhere. There were a couple times when I heard what was supposed to be helicopters going over, and I'm like, it sounds like a bug. And I'm like, but what? It's kind of exasperating. And when I was reading about it just now, it was like, oh, it's got humor and all this stuff. And I felt like every time I was laughing, and almost every time I laughed at the movie, I didn't know if that was intentional or more of like an MST3K, let's make fun of this movie. But it was good. It was good. It was interesting. It was confusing. And I used to do rating systems of 5 out of 5. So I'm gonna give it a 4 because I do feel like I said it has rewatchability. It was very interesting. It hit the points on the story structure. It had you guessing, and I'm still thinking about it now after watching it, which does not always happen. So yeah, check out 10 Cloverfield Lane. I am not promoting the first movie. I am never going to watch this first movie, and I don't know what the third one's going to be about. But the fact is that it came from a different property basically, and they reworked it on their own as their own, and it works. It's good. I mean, check it out and get a mind fuck for yourself. Let me know if you've seen anything else that's sort of underrated on Showtime streaming, either Hulu or Amazon. I don't care. And how do you feel about John Goodman in this movie? I felt like he was really able to show a lot of range. And what's your favorite John Goodman role aside from Roseanne? Because I know that's too easy. Let me know what else you would like to see on this channel. I'm going to be doing more movie reviews, a lot of the times with movies that are streaming, but also theater reviews. I'm still going through a series of reviewing Simpsons episode by seasons, like the best of per each season. And I'm doing Vita, so I'm going to be vlogging hopefully every day almost, probably, in April. So come back, check out my channel, Miss MMM, my blog, missmmm.com. Like, share, subscribe if you choose to, and I'll see you tomorrow.